All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Dr. Stone, Season 1, Episode 12.
We have glass.
We have glass. We
Okay.
have a lab now.
We do
with
indeed.
actual stuff for chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be doing some serious chemistry.
Yep. Suika has 20/20 vision now.
We've got Suika now with
the adjustments.
the nearsightedness solved. That's so wonderful.
Although Kinro is still a bit too proud to talk about his fuzzy sight disease.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And this is something that's rather serious because in order to win the great bout...
you need to be able to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
How is that going to work out? You're not going to be able to defeat Magma if not for that. Which is kind of big deal in order to get the all cure to shoot. What was his name? Ruri. That's
Ruri.
Right. Yes.
Not Rui, but Ruri.
Right.
But more importantly, with the glass, they will be able. Senku will be able to create the bottle of cola.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone. Now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. Science and nature. You scary.
If Mother Nature wants you dead, there is nothing you can do to stop it, except science. But that's working within the confines of Mother Nature, basically.
And fear is basically our response to when nature is doing scary stuff. We basically have an innate kind of sensor of sorts, like the silver spear, being like, "Nope, don't go over there. That's a scary thing." But when you have those moments where the desires of your mind and heart are in conflict with the fear, which is a biological, scientific response to you being like, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
You can overcome it in moments like this. So I love that they're using this scaredy boy, Ginro, to kind of be the focal point for that in the mechanical plot sense. But in the character sense, we went in depth into not only Chrome, but Kohaku.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, kind of what's going on in the village specifically with a lot of the characters there, like Ruri and
her father.
That it's like, we are scared that Ruri could die.
Yep.
We were right in that she passes down the stories. It just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, we need to pass this on to you and accelerate this a little bit earlier. And Kohaku's like, no,
I can't deal with this from the standpoint of it being a preparation for my sister to die.
Right.
And
I'm scared.
And I'm scared.
Yeah.
And I think there might be some way around it because I haven't quite given up yet.
Well, yeah. But what I love about it is that she's basically forcing herself to believe that there must be a way.
Right.
Because what she's doing is not logical.
Yeah.
In terms of,
in a lot of ways, you could say that it's denial.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of the point of fear, is that when you have a moment where fear hits you, your body is basically saying, we want to survive, we don't want to do this. What does fear stand for? False evidence appearing real. That's not always the case.
Right.
You are afraid to touch the burner on the stove because the last time you did it, it was really hot and you hurt yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Right. There's the insecurities and things like that.
Yes.
Things like Kinro not feeling comfortable talking about the fact that his vision isn't super great. And then there's stuff like, this poison gas will kill you in split second. And
I love that they use the ferociously terrifying visage of a ghoulish maiden that's
siren
and take you. Well, like a siren, definitely.
I love the story, and I'm guessing it's probably a true story.
Oh, it is a true story. He said, this is something that actually happened.
Right. The idea of, you can't see it, and it's heavier than air, so it collects, in lower places. But the person just stopped to tie their shoe and just died.
That is Dr. Stone.
That's terrifying.
That is horrifying. That is a brilliant way to build up the fear of what something like this could be. The invisible acidic killer. You know?
Because especially in something like anime, right? Like in stories in general, things like bludgeoning damage and inertia and whatnot, those are always kind of ignored, right? But that was such a great example of just how fragile the human body is.
Yep.
That, you just breathe something that you don't even realize you're breathing in, like that. Dead. Yep. Just gone.
That's so like it's such a perfect representation of how like reality is stranger than fiction.
Yes.
So there's a lot of times where in stories for entertainment purposes, basically, we don't focus on the kinds of conflicts like someone needing to eat, go to the bathroom, all these like basic routine things,
right?
Because they're not that entertaining. But nature has so many like invisibly like tiny small things that could just kill you.
Just you're dead.
And
you're dead.
And we don't focus on those because it's not as visually like dramatic and impressive. So this anime episode decided to have a visual, dramatic representation of what that fear is, but also the subtle, just little bits of exposition telling you this is how scary it is.
Yep. Well, and like even in a lot of stories when they do deal with things like poison gases or things like that, which are terrifying.
Yeah, just bacteria or something.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll usually be like colored differently or something like that. So it's like, oh, there's this cloud of bad stuff.
And they did that here with the spear.
Yes.
Which is something that I'm sure is based in science, like real science.
But that's a way to know when you're at the invisible stuff, right? But the idea that, no, they're like, if this were D&D and someone cast Cloud Kill, there would be no visible cloud.
Yeah, it wouldn't be this gradual change or what have you.
It's just
bodies
hit.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the...
Like the whole thing of the crow that just, oh, nope, it's in the wrong spot, and just, they all just fall. Like,
okay, yeah, this was a great way to showcase the wonder and terror of science interacting with nature in its scarier places. But Kohaku and Chrome MVPs this episode in addition to Ginro, because when Chrome ends up confronting Senku here, I liked it from the shonen bro kind of aspect here.
That's right.
And he is talking more with his heart, but he then starts using his mind and going, it makes no sense for then you to be out there, Senku.
Right, which is something that I was wondering if they were going to bring up, of like, like, theoretic, like, okay, you don't want to do trial by trial and error.
Yeah.
But it might be a good idea to have the first person that goes in just in case.
Because you can't avoid the fact that no matter what you do, it is trial and error.
Right, exactly.
By the fact that you send anyone out there, it is in and of itself a trial.
Right.
You do not know with certainty. There is no... I like that Senku didn't use his 10 billion% anything line in this whole bit there, because he was not 10 billion% certain about almost anything other than what the nature of this thing is, and that it would 10 billion% kill you dead.
The one thing he was 10 billion% sure of, it, even though he didn't say 10 billion%, is if you freak out, you'll end up using up all your air. It won't be able to properly clean it, fast enough, and you will die.
I liked that. That was a really cool limitation to put on the gas masks. Even though in the end it worked out all just fine. There's no like residual effects on any of them or what have you, because that's probably just too much extra stuff to write.
Well, and if there were it's probably deadly enough that in a concentrated amount that if there ever was a problem, it would just instantly result in death. Maybe with like the now that they have the containers and it's a smaller amount, it's like, okay, just maybe use the breath mask when you're still around it, and like
I think they're still going to.
Yeah.
It's just that because there's not so much of it, it's basically like in this little localized area there,
as opposed to a lake of it.
Yeah. Okay. Big thing though is that we saw the parallels between Chrome and Kohaku. Kohaku's reasonings as to why her situation is the way it is with the village, though, makes so much sense because they're both rejecting the idea of this fear, like a scary prospect being something that they're just going to accept.
Right.
Now, their rejection of it isn't changing reality, and they're aware of it, but they are also, I would say, using lateral thinking in that there is not a one solution only way to approach this.
And that's why they're trying to figure out whatever they can, whether it's collecting rocks or
the water.
Exactly.
Now, what's really cool about that is that Senku is the one with the 200 IQ big brain thinking all the time, but this is showing actually some level of creative intelligence for its side characters in a way that ties into their emotional core as a character. I was like, oh man, if we had built up to this a little bit more, I'd be crying right there with Kohaku. That's a really a really tough spot to be in. I get it. And the fact that she's like, I have to make my dad hate me in order for him to not want to push this on me.
Yep.
Like, oh my God, that's really good
That's really
stuff.
tough. And that's also, can I just say, even though Dr. Stone is not at all well, it's not a battle shonen. It is a shonen, but that is like classic shonen like things to put in there because that is what we want to do when we're young. We want, if we see something where we're like, that's not okay, then we question it and we try and find something else, some alternative. Right. So that thing that we think is unacceptable, we don't have to go along with.
Right. I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Exactly.
Now, what's reminded of us, I would say, in this episode, though, is that there is no way they can do the all-cure antibiotic drug or what have you without this acid.
Right.
You still have to go into the terrifying, scary place.
Yep.
At some point, you need to confront the actual source of your fear.
Right.
Now, there are lots of things that we are afraid of that are illogical. I am terrified of spiders. There is nothing about my life, though, that demands that I confront spiders necessarily.
Right.
However, if there was an instance where a giant spider was between me and the person I loved and cared about's life being in danger or what have you, you can bet I would have to have my moment of like, here we go, and then I just run right into it and punch the hell out of its eye sockets or what have you. I don't know. But you have to have that moment where you're willing to basically say, my fear is not, subservient, or
it's the hero's journey. You got to descend into the abyss in order to bring back the boon, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Here they're literally bringing back the boon after descending into quite the abyss.
Now, what I want to bring up is the idea that Kohaku, in kind of a way, there wasn't like a joking aspect to it, but there was an aspect of playfulness in it where she's like, hey, Ruri would be like, the people would be happy for Ruri to marry someone like you. It's just unfortunate God didn't bless you with the gift of fighting. And what's sad about this is that the idea that there are people that are born with innate, just innate talents or what have you. Their DNA, they're predisposed to certain things.
Sure.
Kohaku is a gorilla. She is a monster of physicality. Chrome has an innate, intense curiosity that led to him gathering up all these minerals and what have you. And I love that Kohaku was like, I wish I could be the one to like recommend Ruri to you.
Yeah.
But that's just not the way the traditions of our village are set up.
Right.
But what's cool about this is that I see a world where Kohaku, Chrome, Senku, all the Science Nation, what have you, break the rules of the village, break the tradition of things, change things up enough to where those kinds of dreams can become a reality. And Kohaku is able to save Ruri with determination so that she's able to hold on to those stories. Yeah. And then when she tells them to Kohaku, it's going to be something just because she wants to, not because she needs to.
Right.
And I feel like there's so much that was set up here writing-wise for our characters that I'm so much more in love with these side characters now because of this episode.
I just want to add Chrome, you Baka.
Oh my God, yeah, that was close.
Because oh boy. But not the
you're
acid
talking
thing.
about the fact that he rejected her.
Yeah, well, not even rejected her. It's the basically
like you're like a sister to me kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a form of unintentional kind of ridicule. Right.
Yeah.
No, completely unintentional. Right. And that's why I'm saying Baka, not jerk.
Well, the gorilla part. You talking about the gorilla part?
Yeah.
I think that's part of playing. I think that's him responding back playfully.
Yeah, kind of.
Because she did the tsundere punching him, which was the Baka.
Right.
I don't think he's completely unaware of what he's doing there. It was the moment after that where I thought he was maybe the Baka, where he's like, "What? Do you have like a crush on me or something?"
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, wait,
Yeah, it's like, no, she was just being vulnerable and opening up and all that stuff, and there's potential for good, solid connection.
Like, are you simplifying everything down to the attraction bit?
Who's the gorilla now?
Yeah. Who's who's the lower life form now?
Yeah, exactly. But okay, so theoretically though, if Chrome wanted to beat Magma, now there's no Geneva conventions yet, but
what, you bring in like superior weaponry? Is that what you're saying? Or like,
no, they happen to have rather large glass vials of sulfuric acid. Theoretically, if he had Senku prep a bunch of the ground coal and everything to diffuse it afterwards.
Oh no, that's dirty.
Like,
yeah, I will just shoot you with one arrow once. Senku makes like a sulfuric acid tipped, crossbow bolt.
Or you just he shows up in a gas mask. The guy's like, "What are you doing?" And then he just dumps it on him. He just splashes it on him. Like, that would be a bad way to go. But like,
no. This would be genius. This would be what it is. He has a cup filled with the sulfuric acid, and then he has colored water in the other one here. And,
wow.
And it's I built up an immunity to iocane powder, but instead of it, not at all. He's just like, "To your health, Magma. May the best man win." And Magma's like, "Ha! Good stuff. Oh, it smells interesting."
Yeah. Why does it smell so, weird?
Yeah. Just drinks it immediately, and they're like, "Oh my god, that actually worked!"
If he ever drank it as soon as it touched his skin, he would... he would realize the error of his ways
very quickly. Yeah, because it would literally burn his lips off.
And granted, acid in real life is not necessarily like acid in the movies. The main reason that this was a problem was because the fumes of the acid.
Yes,
you breathe that in, and
right.
But oh man.
Yeah, I think that as far as character stuff, though, for the villagers and what have you, and for the Nation of Science or what have you that Senku is creating here with them, this was probably the best characterization writing they did for them thus far. And I just have to shout out that in one episode, in like less than a third of an episode, really.
For multiple characters.
Yep. But specifically for Kohaku and Chrome, they just like skyrocketed.
Which feels weird saying that for Kohaku and Chrome, when in a lot of cases Ginro had like more kind of screen time focus.
Right, exactly.
Because of the whole thing with the spear and everything.
Yeah,
which was fantastic. One of the things,
the stuff with Kaseki at the end.
Yeah, exactly. That was great, and that felt very Into the Spider-Verse kind of a thing of like, oh, what do you know, I made another gas mask, Yeah.
Took you long enough.
You're right. Took you long enough,
What's up, Danger? I said, what's up, Danger?
Yep. No, straight up.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciated that. And in addition to that, the ways that the whole deal of getting the acid was kept tense. Because like with the gas masks, like the biggest problem I would probably see happening with it is that like, oh no, the mask part wasn't perfectly tight because the string
had a moment like that happen, basically, where just a little splash of it hits the tubing that was already melted.
That was great. That was awesome. And then it's like, oh no, it could have gone very badly.
He had tape. He had an elastic, like kind of material or what have you, literally prepared and wrapped around. He had like multiple strips of that stuff prepared for that exact kind of thing too. Right. Yeah. So I was just like,
yep.
Awesome.
That was great. That was awesome. But then also the whole thing of, oh yeah, you freak out a little bit and you slip. Oh no. Like,
oh god.
Like it wasn't too out of left field, the whole idea of Ginro showing up and using the spear and all that stuff and saving him. It was great.
Yeah, I was literally going to call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like that's got to happen, right?
Right.
But the terror of just like putting myself into that situation where you're doing this thing and you're like, okay, it's working just fine. Uh-oh. Like, because there are, I think there are like two innate fears that people have that aren't based on like
everyone
experience and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like heights or falling or things like that, and then loud noises.
Oh, I know the loud noises one is a thing. The heights one I don't think is necessarily
actually I'm not sure.
Because I think what that is more along the lines of your inner ear getting out of whack. Your feeling of balance. So
I always thought it was, or for me at least, it's just the idea of...
Well, we've all experienced gravity from like a very immediate type of thing. Yeah.
Oh, if I do lose my balance here, I'm going to die. You know, like I was very much one of those people that whenever it's like at the top of the hike, it's like, nope, I don't. If I want to know that if I fall over, my head, like I will not be in any way over the edge of anything.
Yeah, there's the inner ear thing, but then you start to feel it in the flats of your feet. You'll start to feel that feeling of things getting a little bit wacky or what have you.
So the idea of having that and just, there's a pool of acid underneath you. like not only would you die, it would be quite an interesting way to go. And like absolute death zone. Like
think Gollum falling into Mount Doom.
Yeah. Like, oh God. Like
the screams. Thankfully, in some ways, you would die too quickly.
Yeah, because just the fumes of it would, But,
all right. But this was quite the episode.
Yeah,
brilliant stuff with the characters being done here. I liked that Senku engaged Chrome in the discussion. Yeah. And actually was willing to change his own mind because of this. One of the things that is rather tough to do when you write really smart characters is to allow moments of intelligence for the other characters as well.
Sure.
That supersedes in some ways the logical, intelligent thought process of your main super smart character.
And one of the ways that they did it here that worked really well is it's not about Chrome bringing in additional technical knowledge.
Yes.
Senku's
got all that on lock.
Yeah, he's got that on lock. But it's more of the idea of what is actually going to be the priority here, right? So then it's, maybe this tool doesn't fully apply in, in this situation.
Yeah. Chrome, good stuff. Yep. Good boy. Yeah. I like that he brought up Taiju and Yuzuriha because that's something that I think in a meta sense, it's very easy to kind of go, Chrome's great, but he's no Taiju.
Right, because he was introduced later. And that whole thing of when you introduce a character later, then the audience is psychologically predisposed to not attach themselves quite as much or quite as easily.
Right, it'll take more time necessarily. Yeah. Just in this case, they did a lot to make us attached to Chrome right before they threatened his life, which I think as far as a pacing kind of things, think about it. They had that emotional character-driven scene or what have you, them going off and making the masks or what have you and heading there. Then they cut back to Ginro, and he's having his moment where he needs to overcome his fear, and then he literally like stands proud with his back towards the camera.
They drew him like an Ippo character, like with the broad shoulders and everything.
And like, he's not like swole or anything, but I was like, oh yeah, Ginro's going to become a man here. And then they had the moment of pure terror where we were like, like I thought it was brilliant to have the thing of, the realistic thing happens where the gear starts to wear down from the acid.
Yeah, like I was kind of wondering if that would happen just from the fumes of the acid. Like, would that be something where it's like, how thick is the tubing, right? Yeah. Like,
and we have this moment where we're like, and then, oh no, like that kind of flow of things is perfect because it makes the second one feel absolutely hopeless.
Yep.
Because you're like, good, Senku prepared for that.
Yep.
Oh, we can't prepare for this. We have literally been shown multiple points how Senku is not... he dumped his strength stat, let's just say that. He doesn't have the capacity or capability to save Chrome here.
Yep. To say nothing of just... And this is also something where if Senku had gone by himself, one, he wouldn't have seen the thing on the tube, but he wouldn't have lost his balance, right? That was a Chrome thing because... Chrome wasn't as level-headed, right?
Right, because he worried about Senku.
Well, he was worried about Senku. Yep.
So, good stuff, y'all. Looking forward to the next episode. We've got sulfuric acid, and loving this show. So if you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
That's right. Science, but fiction.
Yes.
It's called Battle Lines, and it's really cool, and it's on Amazon. Link in the description down below if you want to check it out. Go look into it.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.